welcome to Freshly Served, the Healthy Vegan Cooking Show. I'm Heather, and tonight we are making a coleslaw, but we're going to make it a warm coleslaw. So we're going to cook it a little bit, get some of the bite out of the cabbage, and I'm going to put some curry spices in here just to make it a little bit more interesting. So what I've got started with is my pan is heating up. It's about good. I'm going to use coconut oil for cooking this dish. So I'll put a spoonful of coconut oil in there to saute with my onions. And usually I don't wait to put the onions in, but I'm just going to let the coconut oil melt a little bit. And that's melted enough that I can put these guys in here. I like to cut everything long and skinny for tonight's coleslaw, so onions are also long and skinny. And I'm using a sweet onion, a Walla Walla, just because I like them. You can use whatever type of onion you like. If you like red onions, go for it. I find them a bit too much in a coleslaw. I'm just going to stir these around in the oil, get them coated, and then let them cook for a couple of minutes, just until they soften up. They don't need to fully cook for this one. I'm not going to fully cook the vegetables in this dish. They're just going to be warmed so that they soften a little bit, so that the cell walls break down slightly so that they can be easier absorbed by your body. We've got some great ingredients in this dinner, so you definitely want to be absorbing their onionness. So I'm going to throw in my next ingredient, which is apples. And again, I've got long, thin slices of apple. I'll throw these in just until they're soft. And again, I'll stir them around, get them coated with oil, and then let them soften. Apples are going to bring a bit of sweetness to this dish because it's going to have the curry spices. It's sometimes a little bit overpowering on the bitter and the spicy flavors, so apple adds a bit of sweetness. Okay, I'll just let those soften. Okay, so I've got some slices of apples in here with the onions now, and again, just tossing them around, and I've let them sit until they're just starting to look soft. Again, don't need to be cooking this food very much. I just want to soften it slightly. The next thing I'm going to add is walnuts. And this is going to be a great dish for walnuts. Because nuts are made up of both protein and fat, they're often difficult to digest. So it's best to eat them with green vegetables. And cabbage is a great one to combine them with. Cabbage, of course, known as a cancer fighter, can also help if you have ulcers. And those walnuts are good now. And I'll throw the cabbage in right away. So cabbage, when it's raw, has a very distinctive flavor that I personally love, but not everyone likes it raw. So this is a nice way to just soften it up and spice it a little bit. Make it nice for people who don't particularly like it raw. So I'll toss this around together, and I'm just going to wait until the cabbage starts to wilt a little, and then I'll keep on going. Alright, you can see that my cabbage has wilted just slightly here. It's taking up less room in the pot. So I'm now going to add the carrot. While that was cooking, I grated up the carrot. I like to do it as close as possible to the time when I'm going to cook it, so that it doesn't have time to interfere with the nutrients. When you cut a vegetable, it starts to lose nutrients to the oxygen. So there we go. Carrot in there. Mix it all in with the other ingredients. I'm starting to really smell the coconut oil coming through. Smells wonderful. It's going to add a real depth of flavor to this dish. And it is also, as a saturated oil, it's one of the most stable oils to use for cooking. Won't start to form trans fats or free radicals as it heats. So I'll get the carrots stirred in there, and because they're grated, they really don't need to cook. They're already pretty soft. So as soon as I get that stirred in, I'm going to start adding spices. And what I'm going to use is some sea salt. Of course, I always use sea salt. Great mineral content. If you're using ordinary table salt, no minerals, probably actually robbing minerals from your body as you digest it. So please use sea salt. And the purpose of salt is to draw the flavors together. So in this dish with some strong flavors, I'm going to want a fair bit of salt. Next, I'm going to add cumin. I'm not going to put coriander in this time, but that's also a very nice spice to use in curry dishes. And I'm not using it because I have some fresh. And I'll add that last. And these, I don't really measure when I add spices, just add enough that you feel comfortable with. And this one is turmeric. It's yellow, so it's going to give some nice color to this dish. It'll probably color the apples quite a bit. I like to pick that up. I'm going to grind some fresh black pepper. Not too much of that. And I like to add a little bit of cinnamon. If you like spicy, I would add cayenne. But I'm not a spicy girl. I like my cinnamon. So stir that around. It's starting to smell amazing. And I'll just let that sit for a minute while I chop up my fresh herbs. I'll chop just the ends off because they're dry. I got them from the market. The ends have dried out a little bit. If these were fresh, I wouldn't need to do that. Oh, and I thought I'd mention, for those of you who are environmentally conscious, I keep a little bowl by me for cuttings, and then I take that out to the compost. So I'll get this chopped up, and if you don't like coriander, you can also use flat leaf parsley, or basil is another nice one. Purple basil is excellent. Okay, I'm just going to roughly chop that. I don't worry too much about getting it fine in this one, especially because it's going to go into the heat. It'll wilt and shrink anyway. And again, use as much as you feel like. So stir that all in together. Almost forgot my last ingredient here, some fresh lime juice. Lemon's also nice. Citrus and acidic things help to digest nuts. So it's a nice thing to add to this dish with the walnuts. It also is going to freshen up the flavor and just add a bit more moisture, because that's always nice. All right, this is looking beautiful. It's time to turn this off. Got a little bit of bits around me on the stove. And we're ready to eat this. There we go, a beautiful, lightly cooked curried coleslaw. This would be excellent if you wanted to throw some extra walnuts on top and maybe some fresh cilantro a little bit more. Very nutritious with the cabbage, helps fight cancer, and a whole bunch of other nutrients that are very valuable. And then this, lightly cooking them just makes it much more delicious for those who don't enjoy raw cabbage. This salad, also excellent raw if you prefer. And it smells wonderful. The cumin really comes through as well as the cinnamon, but feel free to experiment with your own spices if you wish. Enjoy, be healthy, and we'll see you next time on Freshly Served.